Good evening. I'm Tara Singer, and I'm Omicron Delta Kappa's President and CEO, and it's my pleasure to welcome you to this evening's forum with the three candidates for the position of Student Trustee and National Student Vice Chair-elect. In addition to serving in this role, the individual who will be elected will also serve as the chair of the Student Advisory Board during the 2021-2022 academic year. I am going to first introduce our three candidates and identify them by their name and their circle, and then I will start asking questions. If you would like to ask a question of the candidates, please type it in the chat box, and we will provide the opportunity to ask those questions halfway through the program. So our first candidate is Melissa Cancio. Melissa is an initiate of the Florida International University Circle. Our next candidate is Clayton Lawing. Clayton is an initiate of the University of Alabama Circle. Our third candidate is Nathan Wahl, and Nathan is an initiate of the Middle Tennessee State University Circle. I will rotate the questions through each of the candidates, so each one will have the opportunity to answer first. And so here we go. Melissa, since you will be the first person to answer a question, please tell us about your ODK involvement and your experience and your impact on your own circle at Florida International.
Hi, my name is Melissa Cancio, and as Tara mentioned, I'm part of the Florida International University Circle. My experience in ODK has been nothing short of amazing. It's been one that I've cherished since the moment I stepped foot into anything ODK. When I came in, it was my junior year, and I was very eager to join and be a part of it and just make a difference in all that I can. So as I learned more of ODK's values and phases in everything, I've been able to kind of interlock it with all my experiences and involvements at FIU. So I was appointed as president my senior year, and I've just kind of grown since then. I worked in the programming committee in the 50th biennial convention, and then was appointed into the student advisory board as well as the national advisory council. And I've appreciated every moment that I've been a part of the organization and been able to work with incredible mentors across the board, and just kind of stepping foot into what it is to be a student in the professional world. That has been able to kind of put the stepping stone into what I want to do in the future. And ODK has allowed me to continue pursuing my graduate experience, and now I'm currently doing my master's in business administration in a super far state away from home. But it's just very exciting to be able to create that network with ODK, especially with the people that I have met so far.
Thank you, Melissa. Clayton, would you like to answer the same question? Can you tell us about your ODK involvement and experience and impact on your own circle at the University of Alabama?
Absolutely. Thank you, Tara. At the University of Alabama, I was initiated into our circle in the end of my junior year, going into my senior year, and I immediately felt called to serve on our executive board for a very large circle with over 100 different members. And I served as our treasurer, where I was able to help process a lot of the, the back screen type of things, a lot of the bookkeeping, a lot of the reconciling, all of those good things. But one of the most unique things I got to do was help coordinate some service opportunities. And while that did look a little different in the time of COVID-19, I was able to at least create some form of connection to our service project. We were able to create a kind of side-by-side tandem working with a program that we call Beat Auburn, Beat Hunger at Alabama, which is a very popular theme just by name. But we were able to kind of work with our membership to do a can drive and get some of the West Alabama Food Pantry, West Alabama Food Bank donations in, so that way we could, serve our main purpose, which is to beat Auburn and to beat hunger. And I was able to do some really great things in working to celebrate our circle and celebrate some of the great things that are going on at the University of Alabama, but even more importantly, within the community there at Tuscaloosa, specifically as our circle does like to highlight community members alongside students. So we want to recognize some of those great honorable things that our community is doing across the board. And I look forward to, seeing what ODK service looks like on the national level and being able to help represent the University of Alabama in our circle, even as I am now pursuing a master's in college student affairs administration at the University of Georgia. But I am super excited just to, experience and learn and grow all at the same time.
Thank you, Clayton. Nathan, would you please tell us about your ODK involvement at Middle Tennessee State University and your impact on the circle and your experience?
Well, thank you for having me. I appreciate the opportunity to answer your questions, and I'm very lucky to be a part of this group of excellent individuals. My involvement started when I was a sophomore as a squire. I was able to participate in the national gathering at Belmont, where I was able to meet a lot of the people from ODK and experience a lot of the seminars and get some basic grounding experience that helped me understand what ODK's possible impact for me could be, and that really influenced who my experience going through. I went from squire and I served as project coordinator for service. And then last year I served as vice president. This semester I start serving as president. I'm studying for my master's in liberal arts. My experience with the mentors that I became involved with at ODK were integral in helping me develop an understanding of how to create service projects that matter. And one way we did that and made an impact on our university is we used collaboration with other groups to create opportunities for leadership. One thing we did was we worked with stormwater and the national parks to create squad boss training or leadership training through the national parks. And that gave us on the ground training experience for each of our members. This year, we've started a leadership lending library in our at the college, and we plan to develop leadership through that lending library that will be available to any student at the Honors College.
Thank you. Thank you very much. So with the next question, Clayton will go first. Clayton, why are you interested in serving in this role?
I'm interested in serving in this role mainly because of some of the great experiences I had in ODK in working with our executive board. I really learned a lot in our selections process about what it means to serve the values and the mission of ODK in identifying, honoring, and developing leaders in our campus, collegiate, and community life. At first, that just seems to me like, a generic phrase, but it really meant so much more when I got into understanding what that really can mean. Our selections committee was focused on trying to figure out what all honor looks like. And we clashed a little bit, as many selections committees might, but we were able to really check our own biases and check our own feelings and finding and understanding what honor means across the board. Because it means a lot of different things in a lot of different ways, all valid in their own perspective. And that helped me understand, from a justice and equity position, that identifying honor means so much more outside of just serving in a position. And that's something that I want to bring to the table with ODK, is living by that mission of working for our communities and our campuses. I want to build a stronger connection to some of our circles and some of the circles that have been not left out of the conversation, but haven't necessarily been active at the table. And so I want to reach out to them and connect with them to help them be a part of the conversation, so that way we're all in this together, especially in the times of COVID-19, where we can seem so distant from each other and far from each other, that we all can seem closer together.
Thank you very much. Nathan, would you please tell our audience why you're interested in this opportunity?
Thank you for the question. I feel like each role you develop means that you have to have some way to grow. And going to the next level means that there's more to learn, but you can use the tools that you've developed so far. The more I learn how to collaborate instead of compromise, the more I learn that people can win together. And I think that developing as a person is important, in having the opportunity to grow is something that I like to take advantage of.
Thank you. Melissa, would you please explain why you're interested in this opportunity?
Yes. So I have a few ideas I'll probably go across the board, but just truly bringing in people who really care about the organization and really stand by what it means to be an ODK member. Just because I come in with, I have a passion for nonprofit and for anything marketing. So while it may be across different boards, just being able to provide the idea behind what it means to lead through service and to perfectly promote what being a student is all about, education first, but you also have the leadership experiences that can bring on what you would want for your future and to just be able to grow as a person. So just being able to work and connecting students to alumni, because I've always been someone I'm just such a people person. I like to talk to people all day. So just being able to connect students to the adults who are already in their field, to be able to like network and just be a part of something bigger than oneself. And my job experience prior has always been in marketing and advertising, like the business field. So just kind of bringing in the idea of branding yourself and how you would want yourself to portray to your future networker, mentor, or mentee in whatever setting that you're capable of being. So just so many ideas to promote ODK, and I'm really excited to be a part of this with Clayton and Nathan as well.
Thank you. Thank you. So with this question, Nathan will answer first, and Melissa second, and Clayton third. So Nathan, what is your perception of the current needs of collegiate members in the society?
Thank you for the question. One program that I want to develop, or I feel like is important for you as a circle president to help develop, is a step-by-step method to take advantage of the things that ODK offers us through scholarships and learning opportunities and mentoring opportunities. I think that a lot of people don't get out of as much as they could get out of ODK because we don't present it easily enough or quickly enough or at the right time. So I feel like if we're more boots on the ground in front of people in making things available to them, I think that we can grow more as a team with people that are coming through the ranks and getting scholarship opportunities and things like that.
Thank you. Melissa, what are your perceptions of the needs of our current collegiate members?
So currently, like I mentioned, I love connecting people all across the board, if it's nationally or even globally. Like something I think ODK can open up on is the idea of connecting just worldwide. I know it's difficult now with the pandemic, but it's definitely something that's possible and something that we can bring forth to the community. And I know ODK offers so many resources and they're just willing to always help. It's just being able to navigate how to speak to the student to see what their needs are and what we can do to help them in the future. Because having the student voice in the board does help, because we have that transitional phase in the sense of the college years and then providing that voice for the board itself. And just being able to like personally visit the chapters instead of just, I guess, more in a video call, more so going in person and seeing what their needs are, because some people are more afraid of reaching out to ODK itself. And I think that we could do a really good job with presenting the person, like traveling, going to different colleges and seeing what their needs are.
Thank you. Clayton, what is your perception of the needs of our current collegiate members?
I think one thing that the last few months has shown to all of us is that collegiate students don't need anything rather they are demanding to be heard across a multitude of different levels. I think that our students don't necessarily want to be instructed on how to develop or how to become great leaders, but rather they want to prove in themselves that they are the leaders that we have recognized them to be. They want to create change. They want to do all of these wonderful things and kind of shake up the status quo and some of the systemic issues that they have recognized and lived through and worked through. And so I think that it is our duty as Omicron Delta Kappa and as leaders of this organization to help facilitate that change, to help not necessarily speak for our collegiate members, but rather help amplify their voices and some of the amazing work that they are doing on their college campuses.
Okay, thank you. This is a good time in case the two other participants who are attending, if they would like to submit a question. We have a pause here before I start asking questions again. Seeing nothing coming in, I'll go ahead and start with the next round of questions. So we're back to the sort of start again. So Melissa will go first with this question. Melissa, what makes you qualified to serve in the capacity of student trustee and national student vice chair elect?
I think what makes me qualified would be experience in the sense of what it means to be a student after graduating, being able to experience what it means to be a graduate student, and just networking in my hometown and also here I'm currently in the Chicagoland area, to be able to just express what it means to have a voice, like Clayton was saying. And it makes such a difference when you want to be that person, you want to be that leader, to take the initiative into what you want to do to make things happen. And I think that within my circle and within everyone that I've kind of touched paths with, I've been able to just put myself out there and really share and be the voice that I would want to be in the board if I were selected. So just being able to be the voice, being able to market ODK in the best way possible, and just continue to be active with the circle, even wherever life takes me. So
thank you very much. Clayton, what makes you qualified to become the next student trustee and national student vice chair elect?
I think what most makes me qualified to be the next student trustee and national student vice chair elect is that my philosophy on leadership and my philosophy on doing the leading is not necessarily to speak for people, but rather to be on the ground, having those conversations with people and having those wonderful, meaningful moments with our collegiate members, and that they are some of the most wonderful and powerful leaders in the nation, and we want to carry that torch even further. Overall, my education so far in my master's program, which is a college student affairs administration program, is I am looking in my professional world of how to help develop leaders. And my tangible studies and some of the things I've done in my graduate assistantship have really already helped me understand that this is what I'm wanting to do in life, and this is what I'm called to do. I think my passion and overall energy for serving with and for these students is what really makes me most qualified for the position.
Thank you. Nathan, ask you the same question. What makes you qualified to serve in the role of student trustee and national student vice chair elect?
Thank you for the question. I've had a lot of experience. When I started out in my collegiate career later in life, I didn't have a lot of experience with honor societies, and I didn't really expect to be part of an honor society. So when I started getting invitations to join honor societies, I joined every single one that I could. And gave me a unique experience because early in school, I became the president of Gamma Beta Phi. And as the president of Gamma Beta Phi, I learned how to use different resources that are both on the college level and on the national level, like MyMT, where you interact and you learn how to write the constitutions and how things are done mechanically in setting up organizations, but also that gave me the experience to go on a national level as a senatorial representative from MTSU and work on the Constitution there during my time with Gamma Beta Phi. With MTSU fencing, I had also a similar collaboration event. We hosted a regional tournament at MTSU, and we did this by collaborating with MTSU, Middle Tennessee Fencing, which is a rather big fencing club in Nashville. We had the organization and the resources as we worked together to hold a regional event that attracted national participants. And the other thing, and I can't express this enough, I have a great team at MTSU to work with. And there's great people and great support. So I know that at a national level, they'll be there with me as well.
Thank you very much. Clayton, it's your turn to go first with answering a question. So what kind of experiences have you had that would effectively, or let me rephrase that. What are the kinds of experience you've had to prepare you to work effectively with the Board of Trustees?
I have had a unique set of experiences, especially in my last year at the University of Alabama. I served as one of our three heads of our branches in the Student Government Association at the university, specifically as the Chief Justice of our University Judicial Board, which was a unique experience in getting to be the person that students come to whenever things are going wrong and whenever conduct situations arise. But I have had the pleasure, but also the challenge of working with not only university administrators, but lawyers, attorneys, and other, party members when it comes to dealing with conduct cases. And so a level of professionalism is something that I have always worked for and had to understand. Specifically it was my job to maintain the rights of students and the fairness and equity of a courtroom, and not just, being the university advocate, but being the balance between the university's values and systems and then the student rights and guarantees. And so those experiences as the Chief Justice of the University of Alabama was something that really helped me understand the balance between working with a body of people, a body of each and every one of us are qualified and able to do our job very effectively. But also being someone who has to champion their own sector. And so I think that's something that definitely prepared me to work with a body such as the Board of Trustees.
Thank you very much. Nathan, what experiences have you had to prepare you to work effectively with the Board of Trustees?
Well, I've had several experiences professionally to work with boards. And one thing that I realized that when you go into a board meeting, you need to bring solutions. You don't need to bring problems or things that aren't going to help. This is a time when you really need to understand how to bring your ideas to the most effective, bring your ideas up in the most effective way you can and the most concise way you can. So with that, I'm going to leave a short answer on that.
Okay, all right. Melissa, going third this time, what experiences have you had to make you an effective worker with the Board of Trustees?
So to be an effective worker, I've been able to two things. So one, be a part of the FIU. I was overall director for Roarathon, so working with a large group of students. And FIU, we have 60,000 plus students, so it makes a difference when you're kind of collaborating with different clubs and organizations, and still being able to be that liaison between what your goal is and acknowledging what it is that you need to do as a student professional in a sense to be involved in that. Working with the advisors and just kind of putting yourself out there and coming up with those ideas and creating those solutions for what the student body needs and what we need to do to better phrase what it means to do in terms of service. As well as I've been able to work among the Chamber of Commerce for South Florida. So being able to step foot into that area gives me a different perspective overall, just because I was the youngest one in the group, and just having the idea that I can make a difference as well as other people puts yourself in different aspects across the board. So just being able to acknowledge that there's just so many different things that people can connect in different areas, and being able to be a resource to anyone that comes before me or after me can definitely make a difference.
Okay, thank you very much. Nathan, you'll be leading off this time. Do you have some specific ideas about how ODK may be an organization more openly committed to social justice leadership?
Social justice is a very important subject at this time. Specific ideas for ODK could have to do with inclusion, but what I've done personally is I've looked at how things on our campus don't represent the student body, and we need to look at seriously changing some of the things that don't represent who we are or represent ideals that shouldn't be involved with justice in particular, or how somebody is looked at through the legal system. What I've done personally and what I would do with ODK may be different, because I would like to make sure that when I work with people, I'm getting more of the ideas of somebody that is more affected by social justice than I am. I don't have as unique as a perspective as somebody that is more affected by social justice issues as others. So I may not be the perfect person, but I could help to lead a team that would bring social justice issues forward.
Thank you. Melissa, I believe you go second this time. Do you have some specific ideas about how ODK can be an organization more openly committed to social justice leadership?
I think that being able to work with a very diverse community in Miami has kind of opened my eyes more so now that I'm in the Chicagoland area, because I'm in a smaller institution. So it kind of puts into perspective what diversity really means to students, and just kind of encouraging that just because there's all the Hispanics in the world of Miami, but I'm a huge minority in the Chicagoland area, it doesn't change what I want to do for the diverse aspect of the school, because it just helps me better be educated within the school and what they have to offer. So just to encourage the students to become that voice in their community, and to just be the person that people want to see make a change in whatever environment they choose to be in. So that would definitely help.
Okay. Clayton, this time, do you have some specific ideas about how ODK can be an organization more openly committed to social justice leadership?
Absolutely. Thank you, Tara. As a queer Asian man, I have unique experiences in understanding the systems of oppression that are well existent within this country, but there are also some experiences that I will never understand. However, I think that as ODK, as an organization, we have a responsibility to audit our systems and some of the governing documents and things that we have to kind of check and make sure that we're not fostering further, systems of oppression, that we're not gatekeeping in a way that is harmful to certain communities. I think that we as a national organization have that responsibility. I think we also should make sure that we're still in connection with our circles and helping them with their selections processes, not necessarily overstepping into helping them run their selections processes, but rather helping to make sure that, some of their criteria and whatnot are still aligning with the national values, and that we're not letting, certain organizations or certain communities be oppressed or, singled out throughout some of our selections process. Now, it's not to say that this is something that regularly occurs, but it's something that we should continue to look out for. Because it would be irresponsible of us as an organization to do such a thing and to let systems of oppression further run rampant on our campus.
Thank you very much. we have a question from our participants. So I'm going to just keep going in the order that we started. And this may be the last question, but if other people have questions, now is a good time to send them to us. And so here's that first question. Melissa will go first, Clayton second, Nathan third. What is the one impediment you encountered as a leader of your circle that should be addressed at the national level? Melissa?
I think one thing that I would definitely want to make a difference for is just being able to spread speak what it is that you really need, because some students will just disregard it, or they won't talk about it, and then we're kind of placed in a level of how are we supposed to help you, or how are we supposed to better you in whatever situation that you're in. So just being able to create that network and create that group that you can definitely just converse with. If you want to be a part of that, that would definitely be helpful as well, because we don't know everything that goes on in every other circle. We know what our experience is and what we've been able to help with. So just providing that lens of what it means to just offer your opinion and really allow your voice to be heard, because there's just so many things that can go across different tones and different ways that we want to help better that situation.
Thank you very much. Clayton, so what is the one impediment you encountered as a leader of your circle that we should address at the national level?
An impediment that I experienced in my circle that may be unique, but also might have similar veins of interest at other circles, is that in serving on our executive board, I was our only non-Greek student for a circle that was made up of primarily Greek membership. And so that wasn't necessarily always a bad thing. And that's not to say that I'm critiquing the Greek system, but rather it provided a unique experience in which I was advocating for a minority of interest. I was, making sure that our other exec board members weren't necessarily fully making decisions that only represented their interest, even if they did have some of the best intentions in mind. And I think that is something that we as a board of trustees and as a national organization can do. It's not necessarily to check that type of decision making, but just make sure that all of our circles are open and honest for all, and that we're not necessarily, like I mentioned earlier in my social justice question, but making sure that some of our circles are still being open and equitable for all of our membership, and for those who one day might want to have membership in Omicron Delta Kappa.
Thank you very much. Nathan, so what is the one impediment that you've encountered as a leader of your circle that we should address at the national level?
This is a really difficult question for me because I've had a really good experience. I've brought some problems to the people at my local level. I've talked to Matthew Hipton and Susan Lyons, and I've gotten great feedback. So I feel like that having that kind of clear communication for me has helped me understand what the mission of ODK is and how to represent ODK. I could say that I don't know that other people are getting as well or as articulate as information as I am, because I don't know, but I really feel good about the communication that I've gotten, and that's the most important thing, I think.
Thank you very much. Looking for a question from the participants, the attendees. I'm looking in the chat box corner. I'm not seeing anything, so I will say first, thank you to our three candidates for your participation this evening. Thank you for our attendees and other participants for joining us. There will be a recording of tonight's forum, and it will be on the ODK HQ YouTube channel, which you can access obviously from YouTube, but you can also access it from our website. The election for the candidates will take place September 21st through the 28th. Elections will open at 8 a.m. on September 21st and close at 11:59 p.m. on the 28th. All times Eastern. We will make the announcement the following day regarding who has been elected for the role of student trustee and National Student Vice Chair-elect. The individuals who are eligible to vote will be receiving the instructions about voting. Each circle will have one vote from a student officer. And if anybody who is listening or watching has additional questions, there's information about the election process on our website, or you may also email me at Tara, T-A-R-A, @odk.org. Thank you again for your participation this evening. We've enjoyed having you with us, and we hope that this has been helpful to all of the members of our Omicron Delta Kappa community. Thank you and good night.